Hello, in this video I will show you how you can make your own custom blocks for cyubeVR. All that you need is a texture for your block, a recipe for the block, and the block manager made by Albertbz. You can download the block manager on GitHub. You just download it and then you just extract it and start it. After you extracted the files, it looks like this. What I did, I created a new folder called Pictures, and in this Pictures folder I put all of my textures that I need for the blocks to have it more organized and in one place. So all you have to do is just start the block manager, and then you can start with making your own blocks. When you start the block manager, it looks like this. Here you see a list of all of the blocks that you have made and on your PC. And you can change between all the blocks, the independent blocks like just this, or other mod blocks if you are on PC. To make a new block, you just press this little plus button on the bottom of this. But before we start with actually going into the block manager, I would say we go into cyubeVR to get our recipe, because you can only get the recipe in the game. So let's jump over to cyubeVR. So we are in the game, and making a recipe is actually really easy. All you have to do is assemble the blocks the way you want the recipe to look like. So in my case, I put some color dye and some dirt together, and as you can see, there is no recipe yet because it's not glowing green, nothing on the bucket. So to make this into a recipe, you just open your suitcase, then you go to settings, to the stats, scroll all the way down and press generate recipe file. This actually saves this assembly in a text file that can be used in the block manager to say what recipe is needed to get this block. So, at the time of recording this video, you actually still need to have a preview file or preview picture for the assembled block, so that everyone who shares the mod block with you knows how to put the blocks together to get the recipe. Later on, you will not need this anymore because there will be a different way to show recipes, and it will look like this. As you can see here, the blocks are just nicely ensembled, and this is what it will look in the future. But till then, you still have to go with a preview picture. Easiest way to make one is just taking a screenshot of it and then crop it down to a 500 by 500 pixel picture. And that's it. That's all you have to do in VR for the mod block. So let's go back to the block manager. And we are back in the block manager. Let me give you a quick overview what else we can do here. I already showed you the sorting up here, but you can also click on any of the blocks that you already made. Then you see a preview what the block looks like, some information on it. Here you can delete the block or you can edit it. For example, if you want to change the yield or the name or stuff like this, you can just edit it. So, and to make a new one, we click on the plus on the bottom of the screen. Let's do this. Pop. So let's see. On the top we have 4 different tabs: properties, textures, recipe, and finalization. The program is made really simple. Everything is marked with a question mark so that you can actually see what you want to do or not. So let's go through it. First, the name of the block. The name of the block will be cubic yellow rose down. No, up. Let's call it up. Top. Let's call it top. The category of the name. The category is the sorting in the game. When you open your recipe, then you have those categories like misc 1, misc 2, stone. And if you want to have your block in a category as well, you can just give it a name. I will name it cubic, and then it will in the same category as all the other cubic blocks that I made or anyone else made. So, name of the creator, this will be H2O, because H2O is the one who made the request for the block and actually made the texture files for it. The ID of the block, this is pretty important. You have to enter a random ID so that every block is unique. You can enter whatever number you want, or you can just hit the random button here. I like to press it a couple of times to get a nice random number. The yield, that means how many blocks you will get from a finished recipe. It is from decorating stuff, so we go with the highest yield. If you want to be really bad, you can make the yield at 1, and you need to have to use like 20 blocks or so. So yeah, let's go with 50. The tool to break it. Here you can choose which tool you need to remove the block again. You can make it a pickaxe, axe, shovel, or indestructible. Because the thing that I'm going to make will look like a plant, I will go with an axe. So, back to the right side. The right side is optional, so category name we already made. Then we have block to drop. That means if you destroy the block, what will drop? Here you can say the block that got destroyed will drop again, so that you can just mine it and use it again. You can say that there will nothing drop. That's important if you want to have a block that no one else can get, or maybe you want to have it as a target practice block or something. Or you can say custom so that it drops something totally different. For example, you can make a stone, and if you break the stone, you get wood. Really confusing, but you could make this. Then we have some switches here. Allow movement after placement. That means that you can place the block after setting it somewhere. Because yeah, we can move placed blocks, and you can enable or disable it. If you don't want anyone to move the block again, you can just disable it. Allow crystal assisted block placement. Same thing. We can place up to 9 blocks with a crystal, and if you don't want to get placed multiple blocks at once, disable it. And make it animated. This is for PC only. You can make blocks that have animations. And if you go over the question mark, it tells you what you have to do in order to get the animation. We will not enable it because this block will be for PlayStation 5 and it's not animated. So then we go to next or click on the texture. That's the same thing. So here what we have to do is put the texture file in it. You just click on select files and then the texture that you want to use. The texture that you want to use for your block needs to be at least 2048 by 2048 pixels. And here you can see this is what it looks like. You can press the generate preview of block, and then it will make a little preview so that you can see if the block looks like what you wanted it to look like. So yeah, that works. You can also select multiple files if you want to. Let's go with this one. So now we have this where it shows up, down and sides. That means that this texture is for all of the sides, and this texture would be the up and down on the block. You can also select another file, and then you can say, I want this texture of the preview for the top, this one on the down, and you can actually place up to 6 different texture files here so that every size of your block can have a different texture. We're just going with this one because it's what it should be look like. So here we have some other nice stuff to do. For example, we have small texture files. If you go over it, It just says that this is how the snow accumulation on the block will look like. If you want a block that doesn't have any snow on it, you just throw a file in here. Then we have the normal map. Normal maps actually provide some kind of depth so that the block looks more 3D. And we have a glow map file, which actually makes the map giving off a glow so that it glows in the dark. I'm going to add a normal map file here because I have one, so that the flowers look a bit more plastic. So the next step, on the left side we can choose the recipe. Here we have load the most recently generated recipe. If we click on load, then the last recipe that we created and saved in the text file will get added here. As you can see, 3 green dye, 2 white dye and 7 dirt. That's pretty much what we put there. Then we can select the recipe manually if you would, for example, get the recipe from someone else. Maybe you are on PlayStation 5 and you don't have access to the PC version, then you can ask someone else to assemble the blocks and send you the recipe file. Then you can browse it and put the text file in here. And here we have the select recipe picture. That's what I made earlier with the screenshot. It says 512 by 512. I made 500 by 500. Shouldn't make that much of a difference. And here you see what it looks like. Then you just go to next. And here you can choose where you want to save the blocks. Usually you just save it in the default folder. And that's it. Then you just click on generate. Boop. Then it's generating. That's it. Then you can go back to the Manage Block menu, see the block in the File Explorer that opens a new window where you can see where it is, or you can just make a new block. That's it. Here is the block that we just made. That's it. Now let's just go back into cyubeVR one more time to see how the block looks in the game. See you there. And we are back in the game. So let's see if the recipe actually worked. You see it closed green and we got the block. We got 50 out of this. And it says cubic lot yellow rose top. I can place it, I can move it, I can place multiple of it. Nice. So this is part of a series of blocks. That's why it's called top. Because there's also a middle and a bottom block for this. This is the bottom, this is the middle and this is the top. And as you can see, now it aligns all nicely, beautifully. That works, nice. We got some new blocks in the game. And if you want to share those blocks, I can show you how you can do this. Because that's also pretty easy. You just go back to the main menu. So. And in the main menu, you just click on Manage Blocks. Here you see all of the blocks that you have. And if you updated your recipe, you can just click on the Submit Update to update an existing block. Or you scroll down all the way to the new block that you just made. Then you have this Publish to Steam workshop. Just click it and then you have this loading circle that consists of cyubeVR torches, which is pretty cute. Then it's uploading to the SteamVR workshop. As you can see, it's open a new site where you can see information. You can edit stuff like visibility, description, stuff like this. just close this window. It's a success. Click OK, and that's it. Then you uploaded your file to the Steam workshop, and then anyone else can use it as well. That's how you make custom blocks in cyubeVR. Thanks to Albertbz for the really awesome and easy to use block manager. I hope you liked this video and it helped you make your own blocks. Thanks again for Albert. Leave some love for him. Come join us in the cyubeVR Discord. Say hello, say thanks, and have a lot of fun in cyubeVR. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy. Bye!